With graphics like that, this guy must work out. Alright folks, so I am coming to you from the shop. This is one of the last stages of this project. I will post a video on how I made these drawer facings, which were quite intense. Required a joiner, some biscuits, a router table, table saw, and a chop saw. So the outside edges are 2.5 MDF, and then the center panel is the 1/4 inch laminate board that I used for a portion of the cabinet. So I'll kind of show you how I piece those together. These are all the drawer facings. I put a coat of primer on all of them, and I just got done putting the first coat of semi-gloss paint. And here are my towers. Put some crown across the top of the towers, kind of finish it out. I'll show you how I did these. I've got mosquitoes all over this stuff that I'll sand off tomorrow. I've got a Craig jig that allows me to put all these holes in it. That'll make the shelves between the two towers adjustable where you can put them wherever you want. This is a little coffee bar. This is going to get I'm making a wood top for this. I'll show you how to do that. This is the center between the two towers. And here is the second tower. All crammed out. You have to go through and use caulk or wood putty to fill in all of your staple holes all the way around. And then the top is actually going to get 2 doors. So there'll be drawers all the way through here, 4 drawers, and then there'll be 2 doors here that'll split this in half. So I still got to do a little rough sanding tomorrow, a little more caulk between the joints. And although I used a Craig jig for these holes that I showed you how to do to mount screws in here, this is 3/4 and this is 3/4. The screws, even if I bought the shortest ones they had, would still bust through the outside wood and be exposed. So what I ended up doing is using 1.25" staples and stapling in here and in here, and for the most part that has them pretty solid. I'm going to see if I can't rig up some way. This is the way you're supposed to do them. But this is my first time building the cabinet with using these style Craig jigs, and I may have set this hole back or too close to the edge, which is causing my screw to come up and be exposed. So, but thus far, using longer staples, I don't believe these are going to go anywhere. The drawer slides are going to be here, so there's not going to really be anything against these boards. It's a little different if your drawer slide attaches to these, but my slides will be here and attached to the drawer, and it'll slide in and out. So this is really just a catch for the faceplate of the drawer. And I put a top on this, 3/4 inch. Excuse me, and a 3/4 inch top on this. And then, like I said, this is going to be covered. That's going to be left the way it is. So I'll post a video about how I put the drawer facings together, and the doors and drawer facings. These are some floating shelves that I made for another job. But these were probably the most intricate part of this entire project. There's a lot of routing that I had to do, and I'll make one of these and show you how I put those together. So, hope it helps. Next video I post, I'll show you how I install all this and show you the finished product. Thanks. Hello, folks. So I spent the better part of today working on this cabinet assembly again. I didn't video a lot of it just because this is the real tedious stuff, and it just depends on how everything squares up as to how big of a pain this is. So I got all the drawer slides put in. Drawers open and close. And then mounting the facial pieces on there. Basically, for these measurements, I had to go like 1 3/8 above. And then I just used cabinet screws to screw the face piece into the shelf itself, or the drawer itself, and put it on. This is actually material that Lowe's sells right now. They were wanting like an antique-y kind of countertop for this coffee bar. So I'm going to fill this in and probably sand it down a little bit and put a coat of clear on it after I get it installed. So this part is probably the biggest pain in the butt out of all of it. Let me kind of show you the back side of these. So your spacing is going to depend, but I had to use, I cut a piece of slat, that's that 1/4 inch slat board, 1.5 inches wide, and then I cut another piece of 1.5 inch 3/4 and ran that down, put a level on it, and attached it. You attach it just above, let me take the shelf off. Just above your opening for your drawer. So right here, I just put a level on it, put a level on it here, and then screwed this in front and back. And then your other side just screws into your drawer itself. So this is the tedious part. Like I said, your drawers need to be perfectly square. And any imperfections in your wood could cause this to be out. So I did have to do some shimming on some of these. A lot of this is just going to be, it's a trial and error kind of deal. You can get it pretty close, and then you kind of got to play with it to kind of figure out how to torque it one way or the other to make sure that the drawer opens and closes correctly. But got all the facial pieces on, got the drawer slides on, all the drawers open and close. I still have to put another coat of paint on all this. I was going to put the last coat on with everything installed. You can see I'm still showing some wood on some of these. I had these laying flat and kind of needed to have them spaced up. You can see some other parts where I'm missing a little paint, but still got to do that. Then I still got to get the hidden hinges for these. So there'll be a little, I'll show you how I rig these up to attach them to the drawer facing, or to the cabinet itself. But we're getting pretty close to having a finished product. And some guys don't do the drawer facings until they get it installed. I'll probably have to adjust these a little bit, because when you actually mount it, put all three of these together and mount them on the wall, you could have something a little out of kilter. Especially this house was built in the early 1900s, so I'm not 100% certain that everything's square. So I may have to move these drawer facings up or down a little bit. There's 4 screws on each one holding the drawer facing in on each one of these drawers. So I still got to do that. And I built another slide. They make a kit you can get for your trash cans. I found it's just as easy to make one yourself. This is just 3 inches, 3/4. I cut those 3 inches wide. It's a 22 by 18.5 is how big this is. And I screwed in and stapled a piece of 1.5 inch to the bottom of that. So I still got to get some drawer slides to open and close this. But what I'll do is mount this cabinet door to that and put one knob right up at the top, right here. And then when you pull that knob, actually it'll probably be a U-shaped handle. when you pull that, the whole entire shelf will pull out along with the 2 trash cans in the bottom here. And then I'll make a little, probably put a divider in here, that way you can put your trash bags right there next to your trash cans. That's kind of the way we've got ours set up. Seems to work pretty well. So that's all I got. Thanks.
This guy needs to be a poster child for birth control. If you like that video, hit subscribe.